Welcome to the new look for Springboard. In this video, we'll show you a few ways that you can set up and customize your workspace just for the way that you work. Let's start with a dashboard. The first thing you might want to do is add some new dashlets to your dashboard. Click up here on Dashboard Setup and then choose a new dashlet that interests you. Here I'm going to choose a weekly application and account activity chart. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see my chart is starting to load, and there it is. I'm going to increase the amount of size that's dedicated to this chart, and I'm going to turn on the labels. The next thing I might want to do is change the way my dashboard works. I'm going to drag my new chart up, and I'm going to change the layout of my dashlet as well, so that my charts are on the left and are not taking up as much space, giving me more real estate to the My Jobs dashboard. I might want to give a bit more space to that because I've got a lot of jobs. And there we go. That looks pretty good. So I can now see all my charts on the left and my details for My Jobs on the right. The next thing I want to do is add a photo for myself. So I'm going to click on my profile, click on myself, and if I scroll down, I can link in my photo from either Facebook, LinkedIn, or Google+. I've previously logged into LinkedIn, so it automatically knows who I am, and there's my photo. This photo will show up throughout the application, and you'll also see the photos of your colleagues when they make notes or send emails. So we'd encourage you to add your photo to the system. Let's take a quick look at Quick Search up here on the menu. Quick Search gives you quick access to all your jobs and all your candidates just by typing. And you'll also see your last 5 job searches presented to you for quick access to your searches. The next thing I want to set up is my job grid. So I'm going to click on Jobs, My Jobs, to see a list of my jobs. In here I'm going to set up my search results just the way I want them. You can see here I've already got a number of useful columns so I can find out my jobs, but I'm going to click on the Configure Your Grid option over here, scroll down, and you can see a large library of additional columns I can add. I'm going to choose Positions, scroll across, and now I can see the number of positions that have been opened per job, and that's important to me, so I'm going to drag it over. And I can also resize columns if I wish. Your administrator might get access to this pencil admin icon here, and with that they can access the column labels for all of the columns on your jobs. For example, I might want to edit one of these and change Org Level 1 to Business Unit, and Org Level 2 to Department. This change will affect everyone in the site so that you can all be talking about your organisation hierarchy in your own language. If I close that down, the next time I log in, these will redisplay as business unit and department. And of course I can move those around as I need to. Next I want to set up my candidate grid just like I set up my job grid. So let's click into the candidate grid, and once again I can move all my columns around, or from the Configure Your Grid icon, I can choose to incorporate additional information about my candidates onto the grid, and you'll see a large library of available columns for you to choose. I'm going to add email address, scroll to the right, it's been dropped in here, and I can drag it over further if I wish. I may want to choose to auto fit all columns, which will resize any of my columns to an appropriate width to make my grid look nice and clean. That looks pretty good. Let's jump into review mode, and you'll notice that in review mode I get my resume, and as I scroll down the resume jumps back up to fill more of the screen. If I want to keep it in that mode, I can click on the little pin icon here, and now as I scroll up and down I'll stay in this collapse mode, and if I ever want to bring the business card back I can simply click on it and the business card comes back. You've also got this handy shift divider here, which allows you to give more or less real estate to your resume as opposed to your candidate grid. so you can see more columns or more of your resume. And of course, even if you do give more room to your resume, you can always access the information about the candidates by scrolling here on the grid. Finally, there's a search results option up here in the top right. This will give you quick access to any of the jobs that you've performed in your last search. I came in to this job grid from a list of my jobs, so here is a list of all the jobs that I'm working on, and I can quickly jump across and review any candidates that might be on another one of my jobs, and then jump straight back to the one that I was working on and continue how I was going. That's just a few ways that you can set up and customize your workspace with the new look of Springboard.